up, guys? Thank you for watching another video for the GS460. I had to do a cold start for the IS, just love the way it sounds, and I can't wait to do the exhaust for the GS. So today's video we're going to be doing the rotors and brake pads for all four wheels. I already started on the front rotors and brake pads, but I messed up on my part and I actually tore one of the seals in the front right caliper, and I have it right here. So I tore the seal off of this caliper, so now I need to replace that. So I'm waiting for the socket so that way I can take this out, remove it, and change out all the seals. So I got a whole new kit for it, and after that then I'll be able to put the brake pads in there and the fronts will be done. So until that part comes in the mail, we're going to be finishing off the rear rotors and brake pads. I already did one side. I just wanted to test it to see if I was going to have any difficulties with it. I didn't. Put the wheel back on there, everything's good. So I'll give you guys a demonstration on how to change out the rear rotors and brake pads, change out all the hardware as well for the emergency brake. So let's go. So before we get started, I want to mention, if you guys are going to be doing the rears, make sure that you do not have the e-brake on. So I'm going to double check mine right now. A couple things I want to go over, some of the tools that you will need. This is a must right here, especially for me. It is a 2008, so I don't think it's ever been changed out. You know, those are stock rotors, so those are pretty much rusted on there. This will help you take out those rotors with no problem. Remove the caliper. You could set this up here so that way it's out of the way. Now let's take off the rotor. Alright, so now we got the drum off. So as you can see here, the pads for the emergency brake, and here's all the hardware for it. So I went ahead and purchased new hardware for the other side as well. I didn't even know what I was looking at when I took this apart, so I just figured this was a whole nother project, but went ahead and tackled it anyways. So I'm going to be changing all the hardware. I'm going to keep the pads the same because it doesn't even look like they were even used that much. I'm just going to clean it up, make sure all the brake dust is off of it. So I had some difficulty on the other side because these springs and this pin here, they were already off. There's one on the top and there's one on the bottom. If you guys can see it, it's right there. So I had some difficulty with that. I can't put those pins in there because all these joints are in the way. So I have to find a mechanic that'll be able to take off this whole hub for me in order to put those pins in there. And those pins really don't do anything besides keep the pads in place. It costs like $5 for new hardware. Just change it all out. So Okay, new hardware is on there now. I did put lubrication on the back ends there so that way they don't squeak. A little pro tip. And then also, I made sure I cleaned off all the brakes with brake cleaner to get all that crud out of there. That was a huge help. And your best friends for this job of dealing with the emergency brake kit is going to be a flathead to take off those springs, and then to put them back on, you're going to use an Allen key. It doesn't matter what size, just as long as enough you're able to get that leverage, put it in the hole, and just crank it up. That should do the trick. All right, so now we're going to throw on the new rotors, and then we're going to do the brake pads, put the wheel back on there, and we'll be done with the rears. Alright guys, so we're done for the day. Got both rear rotors and brake pads done. So all I'm waiting for now is just like the special socket size for the front caliper, so I could take that apart and I could put the new rotor on there, and that'll be it. We'll be done. I could take her back on the road, give her a nice wash because she is super dirty. She's collecting dust at this point. Missing one little socket, and that will be done after that, but she's looking good though, so I'm excited for this. I'm glad I did all four as well. All I needed to do was the front, but I said, you know what, while I'm here, I might as well just knock out the entire thing so that way I don't have to worry about it for later on. I would highly recommend you guys do the same as well. You can just get away with doing the front depending on how worn out your rotors and your brake pads are. If you guys do it, let me know if you guys have any questions at all or any instructions on some of the tools I use, stuff like that. All this stuff is pretty much like just basic tools. That is it for today. I'm gonna pick up this video when I get the hardware in so I can take apart the front caliper. I would recommend grabbing one of these. This is for the rotor. Mine was rusted on there, so it was very difficult to take out. I know other people are just like, hey, just hit it with a hammer. Well, I did that for about like an hour and a half, and I'm pretty sure I annoyed some of the neighbors. So I said there's got to be a better alternative. Work smarter, not harder. So I went to AutoZone and I found that tool, Lifesaver. The rotors were out within 30 seconds. So that was a huge help. Other than that, you're using basic tools and a pretty easy install. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll pick it up when I get the rest of the tools in.
The next day.
Alright guys, so we finally were able to fix the pistons in the front caliper, and now we're going to be throwing on the new rotors, put the caliper back on there, and then throw the brake line back on there, and we'll be done. We'll be ready. After that, I'm going to flush the brake fluid. I have the master cylinder already full, so when I put this brake caliper on there, I'm going to have to do this fast because I already have it lined up ready to go. So we'll probably start with this side next, and we'll do all four. All right, here we go.